Rainier Avenue Radio World.
Ow, ow.
Did you know that there's an updated COVID-19 booster that protects you even more than the original vaccines? Even if you got the first vaccinations, now it's time to get this new updated booster shot. It's especially important for adults 50 and over and people with a compromised immune system. Even though you may not hear about people catching COVID as often, each week in King County, some people even end up in the hospital because of it. So check with your loved ones and make sure they've gotten an updated booster. For more information on where to get a COVID vaccine, including free vaccination resources, visit kingcounty.gov/vaccines. kingcounty.gov/vaccines.
This is Big Poppy, host of Jazz from the Cabinets. Join me each week for a listening tour of the first century of jazz, an eclectic mix of Dixieland, big band, cool jazz, bebop, contemporary jazz, world jazz, all jazz in all forms. That's Jazz from the Cabinets with Big Poppy on Rainier Avenue Radio, streaming worldwide on RainierAvenueRadio.world.
Tune in to Real Estate and Money every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3 here on RainierAvenueRadio.world. Join your hosts Violetta Strash with John L. Scott Kent North and Tina Lombard with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. They'll help you navigate the waters of our volatile real estate market and offer you some guidance on how to make your hard-earned money work to make your dreams come true. Learn about current trends, get tips on financial matters, and have fun, interactive discussions about your home inside and out. That's Real Estate and Money.
Hospital bills are often a surprise, and not the good kind. But you may also be surprised to learn that you can get 50, 75, or even 100% off those bills. Thanks to a new law, there's a good chance you're one of the 4 million Washingtonians who qualify. Whether or not you have health insurance, the law requires hospitals provide the care you need at an affordable cost. So, ask your hospital or visit affordablehospital.wa.gov to see if you are eligible.
Would you like to see when your favorite Rainier Avenue Radio show comes on? Check out our show schedule, updated weekly at RainierAvenueRadio.world.
Hello. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me? What's up, everyone? It is your girl Queen Bree here at Clean Greens Living Live, broadcasted here on Rainier Avenue Radio. I am so excited to be with you today on this fine Tuesday. It looks like the sun is breaking in from all that rain, so I am super excited about that. We acknowledge that we are on the traditional land of the first people of Seattle, the Coast Salish, past, present, and now. We honor with gratitude the land itself, the Duwamish, Snoqualmish, Nisqually, and Snoqualmie, and Muckleshoot tribes. We also acknowledge all of the systematic oppressive mechanisms that have stopped our Black families in our community from passing on generational wealth in the Seattle CD district. If you are one of those families that have been impacted by racial injustice for your homes, please contact us at blackdollardays.org to tell your story. All right, you guys, this week, I'm super excited about our Earth Day event. We will be hosting an Earth Day event at our new community garden at the Amy Yee. It is finally here, y'all. I have been talking about this for a year now. Some didn't believe me, but we are there. We are getting ready to start planting. Our first day of planting will be at Amy Yee. It is behind Amy Yee on South Holgate Street. South Holgate and 28th is what we'll be. You can find the information right here on this flyer that is being posted up. You can also find it on our Instagram, where it has all of the information on what we're going to be doing. We're going to be planting. You'll be able to be a part of our first planting season in the Amy Yee Garden. We'll talk about Earth Days, ways of eliminating waste. You'll also be able to take home your very own starters so that you can start your own community garden. Remember, we were talking about you starting a community garden, and now we are helping you started by giving you a present. What else do we have? Our youth program is live in effect. You'll be able to sign your youth up at Earth Day if you want your kids to be a part of the program. We have a few slots left. Don't be tardy for the youth party. It is fun. So if you want to sign your kids up, please contact me at Black Dollar Days cleangreens at gmail.com or join us for Earth Day and you can sign your kids up there. CSAs are still going. Yes, we are open for CSAs. So if you would like to be a part of our CSA community, remember buying a CSA with us helps feed a family. So you get a share, a family gets a share of CDs of CSA. So please, if you want to sign up, you can email me or you can go to www.cleangreensfarmmarket.com. Thank you, Daniel. I really appreciate you. You have been able to read, Bree. You have been able to interpret it for me. You knew what I was talking about. Other Earth Day events going on. For the lead up to Earth Day 2023, Front and Center is partnered with Rainier Avenue Radio and Social Justice Film once more to present a week-long program of events. So join them on Rainier Avenue Radio for other highlighted events. And on Friday, April 21st, there will be a mixer and a film showing. So please go to RainierAvenueWorld.com and check out more information. I hope I didn't bust that up for you, Daniel. I hope I made you proud with that announcement. All right, guys. So we are ready to introduce our guest. I am so excited to have him on. We have been texting back and forth for weeks. We have writer, poet, artist Alejandro Sneed on, aka Gentleman Dro. He is going to be coming in here talking about his art and his poem and his book that he has written, that he has out, called The Gentleman's Notebook. So everyone, welcome on Alejandro Sneed.
Hello.
Hi, Alejandro. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you? Can you hear me well? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Maybe I need to let me. Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you perfectly. I just want to make sure.
Okay. Yes.
Whatever I'm trying to. Trying to be professional. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
What is professional these days? I mean, I think us showing up, being here, is professional enough to get the word out what you're doing.
You are so right. And, thank you for having me on the show first and foremost. It's so nice, and I appreciate the intro. That's exactly what I wanted and envisioned. I appreciate it so much, Bree. Thank you.
No problem. I love that you're holding up your book. Can you hold up a little closer? What's the Gentleman's Notebook? Perfect.
Yes, Gentleman's Notebook. This is my first official piece of literature that I created everything inside of it, and I helped create the front cover, and it's been a process, and it's the first to many, and I'm very excited to share, and I'm happy that I get to. Thank you so much for that opportunity.
No problem. Okay, well, tell us about your book. What? Tell us about the book. What's in there? What can we expect?
So the main premise behind the Gentleman's Notebook was, so when it comes to poetry and art and that type of thing, for me, art and poetry are very important to me because they were always a real escape for me. Like, art was always an escape. In my childhood years, I really just used it to kind of just get away. It was a secret skill I did to just to be away, because I did sports a lot, and with doing sports, you kind of get real involved in sports, and you don't really get to do anything else. So art was just an extension of myself that I felt like I got to use. And the Gentleman's Notebook is a combination of poetry and art. And I just started doing poetry about 2 years ago, and I've always loved rap and rhyming words and putting words together lyrically and giving it that type of flow. And this was the first time I copywritten a bunch of poems, and then got picked up by this publishing company in Pittsburgh, and they asked me if I had enough poems to write a book. And this is truly just the beginning of what I hope to turn into something more, and to really change my perception of life. Because when you do sports for a long time, you get stuck in that same bubble, and when that bubble stops, usually people get lost, and this was what found me, and that's why I would like to say art. It kind of saved me from obliteration of myself, I like to think.
Nice. I was going to ask you about that because you said sports builds up this false narrative and versus confidence. So tell us a little bit about what you mean about that. And we're not saying sports is bad, y'all. So these sports fanatics don't come for us.
Let me start. I love sports. I did a lot of football as a kid, and when I got to high school, I ran a lot of track for a long amount of time. I love sports. I love the competitive aspect, the healthy aspect of it. Everything about sports is good. It's just like, as a kid, when you're good at sports, you get stuck in this bubble of like, oh, I'm gonna go to the league. I'm gonna go to the Olympics, and people really hype you up. Like, they want you to believe in yourself and believe you can do anything you want. But like, the reality of the situation is not everybody goes there. Like, that 100% reality that it's the 1% that makes it that far is very true. And a lot of people, including myself, you might get stuck. That confinement of being like, once you lose sports, what else do you do? What's your next step? What else? What makes you want to continue? And that's what I meant with confidence versus confinement. You can find confidence in sports to exist and push you forward, but that confinement of sports will inhibit you from moving forward because you feel like you can't do nothing else. You don't know nothing else. All you know is this. This is the thing that's driven you to do good in school. This is the thing that's driven you to want to keep going to school. This is the thing that's driven you to wake up every day knowing that you're going to be playing sports that next day. And I feel like a lot of people don't get to talk about that because it feels like a pity thing. And that's one thing I realized with finding poetry and losing sports a long time ago and finding this recently. So that's what I meant when I was saying the confinement and confidence stuff deal. I hope that makes sense. I
was just about to say that makes complete sense. I've been around people who played sports and sports was life, and they thought they were going to go to school. They thought they have this big idea in their head. And when it didn't happen, they were literally, like you said, stuck.
It crushes you.
You're stuck in that moment, and you're stuck in time, and you don't know where to go. And so I'm happy that you mentioned that because I think that that's a movement that we might need to start in our community, period. It's like getting our kids prepared. Sports is good. Sports is fun. But what's outside of sports? And you found that outlet in your poetry. And I love that. I love that. What's your favorite sport? When did you play?
Man, hands down, I love football. I love everything about football. I'm like in high school, I stopped playing football to run track, and I was always really mad about that because like my coach told me, he was like, "You're really good at track, so you should stop playing football because you're going to get hurt and you can't run track anymore." And I was like, "Well, honestly," but so yeah, football, just the team aspect of football, the brotherly love of football, and just the camaraderie. And the win, like when you win as a football team, you can feel the love in everybody. And when you lose as a football team, you can feel the care and the sadness between each of your teammates and trying to pick each other up to be better for next week. And I always respected that. And I also love track though for the winning aspect of it. That selfishness is a little bit much in track, but like football is definitely my first love.
I love that. So you just said you just started writing poems 2 years ago, you said, and now you have a book of poems. That is amazing. So like, how did you know that you were what happened? How did you get started on poetry?
If I gotta be honest, so I was moving into my first apartment, and I had just got through like a pretty rocky breakup. I'm like, okay, cliche. Just got through a pretty rocky breakup. I'm like,
I hear a movie coming.
Here they go. I'm saying. I ended up moving to Puyallup and living by myself, and I was in my house for like the first 2 weeks. And then I went to Target on South Hill Mall, and they had this book, this notebook, and it was just a Black excellence notebook, and it said all these really just empowering things about Black people and just like the love for ourselves and everything. It was the only book inside this whole store, and I was just so excited to see it. And I was like, I gotta buy this. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I don't know what's gonna happen with it. But I gotta buy this. And I was just called to it, so I bought the book. And I went home that same day, and I was just thinking, the one thing I've always wanted to do but never did because I was always so scared of how people would see me or how I would be able to like how my words would flow and how everything would work. I always wanted to rap and I always wanted to just do poetry just because I think rap and poetry fall into the same lane for me personally. I feel like if you they the same alliteration, the same cadence, the same balance. You might not have a flow with you, but you can create that flow through your words and that beat through your words. And I feel like I've been able to achieve that for the most part with my poetry. And I remember writing my first poem for my mom, being melon and popping, and she gave me a crazy look. I had said something out, but like I had said something that was crazy to her. And then she heard my poem and she really enjoyed it. And that was the moment when I was like, I think I gotta take this to as far as I can, as much as I can do, because it's always been a dream, but it's not something I ever foreseen until I really sat down with myself and focused on it.
I love that. I love that. I love how we find ourselves as we get older. I look, you inspired me because my mom years ago wrote a book of poems, and I am so desperately trying to hunt a copy down for her. Because I know how that feels to have that accomplishment, and it comes from for you out of nowhere, but it's always been in you.
Yeah.
So you're very inspiring for me too, because I started writing and I didn't even know that was within me, in my scope. And when we talk about sports and when we talk about children, I just want to reiterate how there's so many different avenues for kids that we got to really focus and zone in on that we don't even tap into, because I don't ever remember like there really being that focus of, you can grow up to be a poet. Poetry is just as important as this and that. And so that's really inspiring to just even just for people who are listening, just sit down and just let the words flow. You'll find your rhythm.
Facts.
Nice.
I guarantee you definitely will. And I appreciate you saying that. Like it's been a real process with this poetry because like in the beginning it really falls out you in the beginning. Like when you're just rolling and rolling and rolling. I was just writing and writing and writing and writing and writing, and then you get to that point where like just obstacles hit you. You gotta persevere through that. And you think you're losing your skill, but really your skill is just changing based on what you're going through. And like this is truly just the beginning. A real life sneak peek into poems I've written already and where I want to go, and it really is. I feel like it gives just an ounce of like what is possible through the different type of poems that are inside of this book.
Nice. And one thing I want to say too is like when you talked about that, I'm glad you mentioned that because this is purpose, right? This is something that is purpose for your life. And when we are moving in things that are purposeful for our lives, it's flowing real good in a moment. And we're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But when that hardship hits, people get nervous, they stop, they give up, but you kept going. And I love that story. And that's a good story to highlight right now for anyone who's listening. And you're following your purpose, and this stuff is just flowing, and then you get hit. I'm a firm believer that when you are following your purpose and you get hit with something, that is nothing but the enemy trying to stop you from continuing on. Because they're like, hold up, wait a minute. This person is operating their purpose. They are healing. They are getting out there. They are spreading a word. They are spreading a message. We got to stop that right now because we cannot let that happen.
We don't know. We don't know what he's capable of.
Exactly. No, he knows what you're capable of. That's why he's trying to stop you.
You're right.
But you kept going. You kept going. And I love how you said you wrote these poems and you wrote this book to get a message and to be heard. And before I ask you the question, I just want to say, if you're just tuning in, you are watching Clean Greens live, broadcasted on Rainier Avenue Radio. I have my guest Alejandro here. He is a writer, an artist, a poet, and we're going to get to some of that in a second. But I do want to talk about how you mentioned you was writing and you wanted to be heard. What is it what is the message that you want to get out there for us to hear?
If I had to, as a kid, as a kid in my childhood, I didn't get to speak out a lot. There was a whole lot of listen, do, silence. Household was real quiet. Even though that's not the household I knew I was supposed to be raised in, and I know who my mama is, just the situation we were in deemed us to be quiet. And like, with my words, I've never been really good at getting out my speech emotionally. I've never been out really good with my words. I've always been talkative. I've always been funny. I've always been really good at getting people's attention, but never good at explaining myself or giving pieces of myself to people, because it felt like you might be able to take it. You might be able to take it, run with it, or use me for your own gain. And I never liked that. So with this book was really just, this book has a lot of my feelings involved in it, a lot of me wanting to just talk to people, wanting people to challenge me on stuff that I've written, wanting people to talk to me about stuff that I've written. Just to really, I want to be heard to have a conversation. I want to be heard to talk about, I want my poems to bring analysis, because that's one reason why I write. Even if it's just for me, it's not just for me. I want people to challenge it. I want people to be like, what does this even mean? I want people to read my words and be like, that's a crazy word you used. What does that mean? How does it connect to the poem? I just want to be heard for the fact that I want to talk to people and be able to engage with people on an emotional level that isn't so face value, that isn't so immediate.
Nice. I love that. When we talk about children not being heard, that was very 80s, 90s, almost early 2000 type of mentality is children are to be seen and not heard. And some kids that didn't have that avenue to have that voice. And it's not to say that household was bad or good. But some people, like my household was quiet, and it's not because my mom was abusive. It was just that she, she had her own trauma and stuff that she went through. So it caused her to be quiet, right? And so I didn't really talk to anybody. So now she calls me Chatty Cathy. My mom, I talk a lot, okay?
I like that.
So when you said you talk a lot, I was like, I talk a lot too. So we got a lot to talk about. But I love that you said a lot of people just want to be heard and have that conversation and learn and grow. It's not that you're just stuck in your own beliefs. I love that you want to have a conversation and challenge me. Do you want to give us a poem, give us a piece of what you wrote?
I would love to. I have a poem that's really near and dear to my heart. It was the first poem I ever wrote, and I said it earlier, Melanin Poppin', and this is the artwork for that poem. This is the artwork for that poem that I drew. When I
drew that?
Yes, I did.
Oh, nice.
Thank you so much. And that's the updated, the poem, the thing that you're seeing right now is the updated version that I redrew, I like re-customized. So I have a little bit more flair to it.
Okay, let me find out you can do logos too. Anyways, okay, sorry. Look, giving you more work to do. We're gonna be talking after.
I need it. Okay, but this is Melanin Poppin', and honestly, I've memorized it. And I'm thinking about giving you guys the extended version. So let me see if I can go. Okay, so Melanin Poppin'. Was there any other option? Rays of sun-kissed brown skin, soft sheens bounce off them, beautiful hair everywhere, come short and sweet, on long to the round derriere. People stop and stare, a beautiful sight to see from anywhere. Melanin popping. I said there are no options, can't compete with black women's external feats, only matched by their internal excellency. Can you handle a woman with her shit together, B? Are you built differently? If not, then move aside or think swiftly, because black women need men, not boys. Spot the difference easy. May black women breeze by pain and gain the acclaim they deserve to attain. Managing to stay so gifted while the world attempts to shame. The properties of black skin are so wonderfully sustained through all the dramas of the world, still one finer with age. You can't tell me she don't look great in every primary color. Yellows, blues, reds, stop calling them dreads. That ageless hairstyle locks intelligence in their heads. That don't mean touch. You don't deserve as much. Time and patience to perfect a hairstyle as ageless as the skin that it graces. Mere imitation to know by that connotation. Dread could never be a term to refer to black women's heads, always ahead of their time, constantly looking in their prime. I'm blessed to know my mama is one of a kind. Time and time again, I see black women for the win. Sisters killing it, it's so lit, witnessing it on lower, this immense, melanin popping. Was there any other option? Rays of sun-kissed brown skin, soft sheens bounce off them, beautiful hair everywhere. Can be short and sweet, or long to the round derriere. People stop and stare. a beautiful sight to see from anywhere. Melanin popping. There's just too many options. So many different hues and do's. How can anyone ever choose to boo the beauty? Seen for who you are, that third eye looks far, able to disbar those that seek to impose, expose foes. Intuition always knows. An ally, though, get the golden hour. Able to bloom for those who see Black girl magic and view it as power. I want to make them ours. Know that I lost the rest of it. God damn it. Yeah, I didn't finish it. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's
No, that was beautiful. You know what? Here, I always make mistakes, so please don't apologize. This is where this is a no judgment zone. We are all here for our community, trying to create a change, trying to grow ourselves. So don't sit in that. Don't sit in that. What we heard was bomb. What we heard was bomb. So tell us, where can we get your book?
You can get so the Gentleman's Notebook is if you go to rosedog.com/bookstore, or you can go to my Instagram, which my Instagram is gentleman_dro. And if you look in my bio, there's a link tree, and the link tree will take you directly to my book.
All right, guys, follow gentleman_dro. And I will try to have that. Send me that information so I can put it on our Instagram and my Instagram. Because I want people to be able to hear that book. Your poem was hands down amazing. And I love it.
I wish I could have finished it the way I wanted to, but thank you so much.
But everything happens for a reason. And I love that for us here is that we're going to make mistakes. We're going to fail on our purpose and our journey. But guess what? We get back up. We keep going. You got back up. You kept going. And you got a book. Okay? You are doing it. You are out here doing it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I appreciate you coming on the show and taking time and spending time with us. And your artwork, your poem was beautiful. You have a beautiful soul. Keep going, keep moving. And look, my mom's over here. She said, "We'll let you do it." I would love to have you come and speak to the children and just give a testimony about what you've been through. Look, I'm over here like you should be a mentor. You should be out here with these kids. Cause you
thank you so much.
You're welcome. Janice said it leaves them wanting more. So follow follow gentleman_dro on Instagram. Linktree in his bio to buy the book. I would love to see you around, have you in our community, and just do your thing. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for
All right.
having me. You're welcome. I love it so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Everyone, don't forget this Saturday, Earth Day, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We will be out in our garden. We'll be planting the first half, and then we'll just be chilling and hanging in the garden, having a good old time. So please join us, South Holgate and 28th, behind the Amy Yee Center. Everyone have a beautiful day and stay focused.